Hey there, everybody, and welcome to the Android Central Podcast. It's episode number 77 for Thursday, November 3rd, 2011. I am Phil Nickinson. I am a very tired Phil Nickinson, and your host of this podcast and editor of AndroidCentral.com. I was trying to decide whether to introduce everybody or tell you the big dark secret for this week. We'll introduce everybody first. Jerry Hildenbrand from the site.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Mickey Papillon, you know him as the cell phone junkie.
Greetings, everyone.
And from the Android Central forums, we have Corey Don't Duplicate Forum Streeter.
I get very upset when you do that.
Yes, you do.
Frank.
So you want to hear my...
I'm excited to have this really geeky contraption microphone.
Show us. What's it look like? Ooh, pretty. I'm glad it got there in time. I didn't think it was gonna.
Oh, I didn't even know these types of things existed.
Yeah, keep it closer to your face. We can hear you then. Works a little bit.
You can use duct tape and it'll hold your cough stuff too.
We're high tech now. So I got a deep dark secret before we get into the Android stuff. You want to hear it?
Let's hear it.
I finally got an iPad.
Oh my god.
Well,
I noticed.
I got it for work, right? We need to be able to compare things to the iPad. So finally went out and bought one. And it's interesting. So, I mean, I've used it before, right? And I've used iOS. I mean, everybody's used iOS, right? But I've used it more in the last 24 hours than I ever have. And it's really interesting. I mean, there are parts about it that are great. The UI is so smooth and so fluid compared to my poor Galaxy Tab. And it feels like there's bit rot on my Galaxy Tab and Honeycomb, right? But there are other parts on Honeycomb, and especially on the hardware, that I like so much better. Like stereo speakers. For me, it's a big thing, especially when playing games. I mean, Jerry, you don't have an iPad laying around, but I mean, the stereo speakers are just...
No,
it's killer.
Yeah, I agree. I've used one, but I don't have one.
The Galaxy Tab just feels nicer, even though it's plastic. I don't know, it's just softer in the hand. The rounded edges are better. So it's been interesting looking at it from a hardware, and I don't really look at it from a software standpoint because there's nothing there in iOS. It's just a grid, and then you run apps, right? But Android is so much more and so much more to do with it. It's been fun. It's been interesting. And the kids are already stealing it. Surprise, surprise. You guys going to disown me now? Everybody tried to disown Ashley Skater when she got an iPad.
No, but I do have to say, the next time I check my mail at 3 o'clock in the morning and it says sent from my iPad, I'm driving to Pensacola.
I did that on purpose to see if you guys would notice.
Oh, I thought you typed that in.
No.
I thought you were being a smart aleck.
Nope. Oh, man.
Okay, well, now that I know the truth. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think? Good rating.
Oh, I mean, look, some of the apps are fairly awesome. It does some really crazy things, too, though. Like, I hadn't realized, and we have scaling issues on Android, right, with Honeycomb, with some apps not necessarily scaling properly. And I'd forgotten that in iOS, you just have them in a little tiny window, like in the middle of the 10-inch screen, 9-inch screen, whatever, right? And it's just so bizarre.
Yeah. Lack of flash?
It hasn't bothered me yet, but I haven't. And here's another thing: I'm not going out and rebuying all my apps again, right? Or in all these games or whatever. So I'm just not going to do it. So we'll see. It's been an interesting 24 hours, an interesting little experiment. I'm not switching to iOS anytime soon, though, so don't worry about that. I'll leave that to traders like Ashley Skater.
Boom.
Oh!
That's what we needed to hear.
But it's been interesting, and I'm going to put both of them down in front of my kids and see which one they crawl to.
Well, make sure you put like a picture of something childlike on it.
Yeah, it's been different. So we'll see. We'll talk about it more in a couple weeks, maybe. Should we talk a little Android, perhaps? That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it. Where do you want to start? You want to start HTC ReSound, or do you want to talk Barnes & Noble? Had a little bit of big news today.
The Barnes & Noble was pretty cool, actually.
Let's talk Barnes & Noble.
Yeah, that was unexpected.
So this afternoon we got what at the time I thought was a pretty cool scoop. It turned out to be pretty cool, but not a scoop at all because apparently a couple other sites got fed. I think Engadget got fed too. So we now know what we're going to see on Monday in New York at the Barnes & Noble event. And by the way, I'm going to be there, so we'll get to play with this. So we have the Nook tablet, and this is interesting. So it's essentially the same thing. It's beefed up specs, right? Same form factor, same screen, same size. But damned if they didn't bring some specs into this thing now. Dual-core TIO map processor at 1.2 gigahertz. It's a little bit thinner, a little bit lighter, 14.1 ounces instead of 15.8. So that's going to be kind of cool, actually, because I really like the size and weight now. 16 gigabytes of internal storage, and it'll take up to a 32 gigabyte micro SD card. Battery life is to be determined, they said. It's still Wi-Fi only. So it's the Nook color, right? But it's better. It'll be faster. Mm-hmm. You're going to have TV on it. You got Hulu. You're going to have movies. You're going to have music. It's a big deal. And I assume it's still going to be as hackable. And I assume it still runs Android because I didn't actually say Android anywhere. But, just looking at the one bad render we have on there in black and white, I assume they didn't completely redo it, right? It's still running Android. I hope it is. Better be. Oh my God, Corey turned into Renee.
I noticed.
I love doing video now. Cool. Can you guys lip sync together? That'd be sweet. For everybody listening on the audio version of this, they're like, what are they doing? So what do you guys think? Are you disappointed that it's just kind of more the same thing but better? Or you want something different? Anybody? Jerry?
I don't know. I'm kind of glad. I was hoping that Barnes & Noble would come out with one because I bought in pretty big to the Nook color. We bought a lot of books, magazines, and I was kind of dreading, the idea of switching over to Amazon and trying to duplicate all my magazine subscriptions and newspapers. So I'm glad to see Barnes & Noble bring something next gen out. I'm definitely getting one. My Nook or Amazon Kindle Fire that I ordered is going to just be a Christmas present for somebody.
Really?
Yeah. I got all kind of kids and all sorts of leechy relatives. Somebody will get it.
And a couple of fires laying around, so you don't need one of them.
Well, we're going to have both here. Mickey, what do you think? I mean, you're an iPad guy, right? Is this going to woo you any?
Yeah, I am. And I don't know. I'm still not really sold on the kind of the fragmented approach with these. I'm still waiting for like something that really the Galaxy, 10.1 was kind of close to what I would consider if I was to consider one, but I don't know. This did zero for me. I read it and then I'm like, wow, look at all these stories because it was like story after story after story. Everyone picked up, this thing, and I'm like, really? This makes that big of a, an impact on people? I don't know. I read the specs and went, and kind of moved on with my day. I didn't even really think about it for more than about 30 seconds.
Let's talk pricing. So it's $249, same as the Nook Color now. The Nook Color is going to drop down to $199. I might have dropped it a little more, I think. The Nook Simple Touch, the tiny little one that's Android-based, but you'd never know it, is $99 now, which is a good price for that. But $249, you can pre-order starting Monday, it says. And you will have it November 16th, which is the day after the Kindle Fire. I don't know. I'm not sure that one really affects the other as far as release. What do you guys think? I don't think it will.
No, I mean, people are going to... I still think people are going to flock to the Fire. I mean, it's that $50 is going to make a difference, and the Amazon name is going to make a difference. But I think a lot of people that bought the original Nook Color are going to be happy.
I think it gives BN a little room to maneuver because you can always go down. You can never go back up once you go down, right? So I don't know. They never lowered the Nook Color that much. I guess they took it down to $240, or was it always $249? I can't remember. And I like the Nook Color. We have one here. I use it. Yeah, maybe. I think for me, the Kindle Fire is a little more interesting just because it's new and it's different. I don't know. Corey, you got just any inkling of getting this over a real tablet?
I kind of liked it. I think it the fact that it's a little bit more purpose built appeal to me. The faster specs, I thought the first one was a little bit pokey, like sliding from screen to screen. I thought it was a little bit slow. So the specs look pretty good on this for what it is. Pricing wise, I don't know. I think there's going to be people that are loyal to Amazon and loyal to Barnes and Noble. I don't think it'll affect one or the other that much. It wouldn't hurt them to do kind of a price match at first. You know, I don't know about that, but I think it's cool. I'm not getting one. Tablets are my thing, but I don't know. I could see myself on an airplane with this when I'm flying around.
Yeah. We'll see. It'll be interesting. And I still think Barnes & Noble having the in-store help, they have those classes. I know I've talked about them before. I think that's a big deal. And I think being able to go into the store, and I know you can go into Barnes & Noble, but when you walk into a Best Buy and see a Kindle, but going into a Barnes & Noble and that being the first thing you see is a pretty big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and quite honestly, the paper book industry is at kind of a crossroad right now. It's kind of like the music industry of a few years ago, if you think about it. Mm-hmm. With everybody kind of making the switch over to ebooks now, as the switch over to MP3s happened a few years ago, you have to imagine that at some point the big, well, you look at Borders. I mean, they were the kind of the circuit city of the book industry, right? And one was going to stand, and it happens to be Barnes & Noble. They've scaled themselves appropriately, and I don't think bookstores are going to go away. I'm not saying that. I'm just thinking that Barnes & Noble has really done some smart things with the Nook line, and it's good that they're offering another option here now. It's good that it's got higher specs. $250 is still a good price point. It was Phil. You made a pretty interesting comment when you asked Corey the question. You said, "Would you get this over a real tablet?" That's the problem, or the point is that this is a reader, and yeah, it's got Android on it, and yeah, it's really well spec'd Android, but you're going to have to do a little bit with it. And I'm sure Jerry's just going, yeah, but that's why I want it, so I can play with it for only $250.
Well, how about this? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say the other thing too is when I think of e-readers, and I don't think of like Amazon against the Samsung Galaxy. I think Barnes and Noble and Amazon. I think of them as true competitors. So each of them putting out kind of the same device, I think brings some good competition to the market because they both stand out in your mind as sort of a book-centric, e-reader-centric type company that happens to do a couple other things as well. So
here's an interesting little note, though. They're not calling this the Nook Color 2. They're calling it the Nook Tablet. They're calling it a tablet. Now, I know I said I think I consider the Kindle Fire to be a tablet, and this is without me having touched it, or the Nook tablet for that matter. But are we to that point where we're calling these e-readers tablets now?
They're trying.
Apparently.
That line's getting really, really blurred, I think.
Yeah.
Especially for how people are using them. You're not going to play Infinity Blade on this, and that's what I've been doing for the past 24 hours on that iPad, is playing Infinity Blade, which is pretty sweet, by the way. But, you're not going to play Infinity Blade. You're not going to play, what's that big space game I was playing on the Galaxy Tab for a while? I forget the name of it. Galaxy on Fire. That's what it was. You're not going to do that on a Nook tablet or on a Kindle Fire. Probably, I assume. Hell, this new Nook tablet might do it, huh?
I would think both of them can probably do it.
Yeah.
Whew, this is going to get interesting.
The micro SD is key. Now it'd be really nice if it took the next generation of, what is it, that scales about 32 gigs. That's probably the next model.
Yeah, we got a little ways on. I mean, Jesus, I know I'm going to say it, and I'm going to regret saying it in like 2 years, but how much storage do we need?
Apparently, you guys need like 2 terabytes.
I remember I was in middle school, and I remember when the assistant principal got a Mac with a megabyte hard drive, and we're all like, why does that SOB, and none of us liked him, so why does that SOB need a 1 megabyte hard drive? Why is he so special? Those were the days. I'm old.
Yeah. You're dating yourself.
I ain't saying nothing.
Yeah, don't you dare.
So that's the Barnes & Noble news. The other big thing today, Andrew Vaca covered the HTC ReSound event for us, and it is official. It is announced. It is HTC Beats Audio and red and cool. And what do you guys think? Is it just a weird time to be releasing a smartphone right now?
A weird time? What, November?
Well, yeah. As we're waiting for Ice Cream Sandwich, as we're waiting for the Nexus to come out in a couple of weeks.
That makes everything difficult because, I mean, I'm going to come right out and say it. If you're going to buy a new phone, don't buy without Ice Cream Sandwich on it.
Yeah.
Don't. Just don't.
Early next year could be like April.
Well, and it's not fair to hold these guys to any sort of timeline.
Right.
You can't do it. I mean, you can, but you'd be stupid to.
And it's not their fault. The ReSound looks like a really good phone. I mean, heck, if it had came out a month before the Ice Cream Sandwich announcement, I'd have, heck yeah, go buy it right now. But I just, we've been around this game a while, and I'm going to tell you, don't buy a phone without Ice Cream Sandwich on it if you're buying a new phone from today forward.
I hope HTC has looked at what's gone on in the past year, and hell, even the past 6 months, and says, no, that we are not going to take this long next time. It tells the carriers, we cannot take this long, and just does whatever it has to do. I don't know how much more they can do over what they did this year. I just don't know. Maybe they got more people to throw at the problem. But it can't take this long over the next, 8, 10, 12 months. Just cannot take that long to update. Fragmentation!
I don't think I can take
fragmentation!
Yeah, make a chart, Phil.
They should not put out another HTC Sense phone until like June.
Yeah.
They're all looking the same.
Well, you know what? I would love that, Corey. They've got a good one on every carrier once that one comes out for AT&T. Let's stop putting things out until you can put out one with Ice Cream Sandwich and update the 4 you just made. That would be sweet.
But what difference is it going to make? So they skin it. They put all their stuff on it anyway. What difference is it if it has Ice Cream Sandwich or not?
Really? It's probably not going to be much, but that's just how we are. We have to have the newest and latest because we're all nerds.
And I think the dual core argument is good, right? But other than that, you're getting an HTC Sense phone. So you're not getting an ice cream. You're getting Ice Cream Sandwich, but that's not exposed to you at all in any way.
Yep.
It's completely covered up.
Should we talk specs? Should we actually talk about what the phone is? Maybe.
Yeah, we ought to.
So you get a 4.3-inch display, 720p resolution, right? That's HTC's first to do that, I believe, which is nice. And I played with the Sensation XL a couple weeks ago at CTIA, and tell you, the lower res on that huge 5-inch screen wasn't the worst thing in the world. But man, I can't wait to see 720 on any size. Because that's a step up from QHD. So you've got 4.3-inch QHD. What is this? WPGA. Yes. 1280 by 720. 1620 milliamp hour battery.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
When you're pushing that many pixels. I don't know. 1.5 gigahertz. Is the processor single core or dual core? We don't say.
It's dual. They don't say what kind it is.
Yeah.
It's dual core. Everybody assumes it's a Snapdragon S3.
Okay. What else of note? Really kind of gigabyte of RAM. The other big thing they pimped was the camera. And I think you're going to hear a lot of that from HTC over the next year. Just because that was kind of the thing holding back for a long time, right? And they've rightfully fixed it. Now, I'm not sure how much more of that I can listen to before I'm just like, all right, that's your camera. Move on. Next. What's your next spec? But it's good they fixed it. We just reviewed the Sensation. It's better. I think Samsung still wins, but it's getting better. So that's good. But I don't know.
Does the camera protrude? Like, I was wondering, when I was looking at it earlier, it looked like another scratch magnet.
What isn't?
Well, Corey, you're just full of hate.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so negative.
That's okay. Go ahead.
No, I'll stop. It is a nice phone. I'm not saying it isn't. I've just it just looks the same. It's another
the Incredible 3.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like the Incredible 3. I mean, Mickey, we're starting to see phones with QHD and now WVGA resolutions. iPhone where?
Where what? Where's the resolution?
Are we going to see? Are they going to up it to 720 next year? Do you think? Is Android going to rule that space for a while?
I don't know that they're going to. I think because of the way that the application support is out there, where you just double the resolution from the 3 and the 3GS models, just made sense to for it to stay there. Honestly, you look at the screen on the iPhone, you don't need anything more. At least in your mind, you don't. And I don't know that there's any reason for bigger. Yeah, until they make it bigger. But then again, we're talking about doubling the resolution of whatever. I don't know. I think I like the ReSound. In fact, I was looking at it and I was like, I've always felt that the Incredible was probably my favorite Verizon smartphone. My stepfather has one and I always like it. I like playing with it. It just works really well. And I don't know, we kind of got like things just took off and all these other devices came out there and I keep going back and I'm like, I mean, even early this year, I was still thinking, if I bought a new Android device on Verizon, I would be looking for the original Incredible just because I think they did a really good job with it. And so I like this one. But at the same time, HTC, their Sense stuff, I know it's better. But, I know we have a question about it later, so I won't even get into my opinions quite yet on comparison between this and other devices.
Anything else on the ReSound? I mean, I don't have much to say till I get to play with it, but it looks pretty, Beats Audio is interesting. I played with that a little bit on the Sensation XL, but I don't know how much of a game changer it is. If you're way into audio, I guess it'll be better.
It does come with good earbuds.
Yeah, and it comes with, that might be the best thing you get out of that is the better earbuds. But, I bought these, so I don't have to use the crappy ones that come into phones, and so I kind of don't need somebody else to give me any. I guess I don't know.
Are they like awesome, or are they sort of like?
I put them in for a minute. They sounded fine. They were. I don't know. I got used to these, and I'm not big on in-ear buds anyway. I just think they're uncomfortable and don't sound all that great. These sound decent because I paid too much money for them. They're still not perfect, and they don't cancel out noise. There's no noise cancellation, but you're only going to do so good with earbuds no matter what, period. If I were you, I would spend, if you really care, you need to spend $150, $200 on really good earbuds.
Yeah. I will agree with Mickey. The Incredible was by far my favorite phone on Verizon. So anything that like a 1080 or a 720p screen and a faster processor, I guess I'd be into that.
Yeah,
man, this Thunderbolt, I don't know what's going on with it. Like, poor guy. Like, and I need to check the forums, but if I make a phone call, as soon as I hang up, the screen just goes blank, and I can't get it to turn back on. Gotta pull the battery.
Everybody call Phil.
Yeah, somebody called me from Peru today.
I haven't touched mine in like a month, and the kickstand, like I'm sitting on the counter and it's just peeling without me even touching it.
Bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah.
It had such potential, and I don't know what happened. Bring on the Nexus. Bring on the Nexus.
Yep.
Hell yes.
Can somebody say Segway?
Yeah. Now we're talking. Now you're kicking with gas.
So we might have a date on the Galaxy Nexus again, maybe. Unofficially, we got a screen today and it's really weird. So the source says, hey, we've got this. It's a work in progress that might go out to all the stores soon. And it says, get ready for it November 17th. If my browser will ever move over, proud to announce that Samsung Galaxy Nexus will be available online in your something November 17th, 2011. Note that the promotional items are not to be used until Tuesday, November 15th. So there's that. I was talking to another source who basically told me it's not necessarily nailed down yet. Which I guess...
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, if this is a work in progress, then fine. So maybe it's the 17th, maybe it's later. Droid Life got that marketing thing, and I think it was pretty clear that's like a marketing schedule and not necessarily a release schedule, because you wouldn't schedule a release over several days. That just doesn't make sense, right? You just launched the thing.
Well, yeah, they got that and got excited just like we would, and then everybody got a chance to look at it and start thinking. Yes. Makes more sense now.
So what it comes down to is we really still don't know when this thing is coming. Or
as long as it doesn't turn into another like Thunderbolt thing where it's everybody thinks it's coming out on March 2nd or April
oh my 2nd. God, that was the worst launch just hype ever, and it was ridiculous. and look, I mean, we had leaks from Best Buy, I remember, that we were like doing math on and stuff. Mm-hmm. and it totally looked right. And it's like, how could, all right, here's where Best Buy thinks it's coming, and Best Buy was wrong. So what are you going to do? So, I mean, it's not official until it's official. That's the point. Yep. That is the point.
I can deal with November 17th. Kind of. It's going to be tough.
Well, I don't want to wait any longer than that.
What it comes down to is it doesn't matter what day it comes out. I don't care if it doesn't come out till January 11th.
Right.
Everybody listening to this podcast, that's the phone you want. I'm sorry. That's just, we say it all the time. You got to try a Nexus phone. You've got all these complaints about skins and bloatware and everything. If you've got your heart set on the Razer or the ReSound, yeah, they're good phones. But if you are a Nexus fan, just an Android freak, it doesn't matter. Wait that 2 weeks. Don't give in.
We're on the same page except for the January part.
Yeah.
No, I hope. I hope the 17th is the right date. I would love to see it come out. GSM, Unlocked, Verizon, everybody, just the same day. Google say, here, we love you, and just throw Nexuses at everybody.
Yeah.
I got a feeling we're going to have to import.
Yeah, I
don't say that.
I got a strong feeling we're going to have to import.
Or buy one unlocked from Verizon. Or buy one from Verizon, which will be unlocked, maybe.
Don't say that.
I'm betting on it. Let me put it this way. I have a feeling we're going to have to import.
Because if I import, it's going to be something else. Sorry.
Really?
Something I've been looking at that Nokia N9 for 6 months.
Ooh.
And if I got to spend $700 and not have a warranty, me go, baby.
True.
Can I just add something to what Jerry said?
No.
I see. No. Oh, okay.
Yes, you can. Go ahead.
I see a lot of forum posts where people are asking, the Nexus Galaxy seems under spec. It's old technology. Should I wait for the 1.8 gigahertz quad core? Should I keep waiting and waiting and waiting? And no, this is the first phone with ice cream sandwich. Don't think it's under spec.
It's optimized. How about that?
It's optimized, right? And if you keep waiting, yeah, you're going to need a 1.8 gigahertz phone because it's going to be running some skin and carrier stuff and all that. So this is an opportunity to get a phone that has nothing on it, and it's going to run really well. It's going to be fast, and you've seen the videos. The screen is awesome, and I don't think you need to wait around till March or January or whatever till the next thing comes out, because you're not going to get a Nexus for a long time. Another one.
Preach on, baby.
So that's all I wanted to add. Yep.
Droid Razer, we got a leak, and I think Droid Life got some screens that support it, saying November 11th at 11:11 a.m. I'm not sure if the stores aren't going to open until 11:11, or if you just can't buy one, can you go to the store and hang out while they have coffee? You can go play with the iPads there. I don't know. Mickey, what would you do if you went to a Verizon store to buy this thing at like 9 in the morning when it opened up and you had to wait for 2 hours?
This doesn't make a lot of sense. I like the marketing behind it, but I don't know. I would just imagine they would want to have this available whenever people get there. Maybe I don't know.
Although,
what time? What is it? 9 a.m. stores is open. Sometimes 10.
I think mine are 9. And actually, I've gone into my store at 9 a.m. to buy a phone, and they're like, "Oh, hey, do we have that? Is that out today? Can we sell that?"
Exactly.
And they don't even know.
They'll sell them. Come on, they're going to sell them.
Yikes.
They're gonna, if you waive the money, they're gonna sell you the phone.
A time? Why a time?
I know. Well, but it's 11:11 now. No.
Why? It's not going to wait. There's someone sitting there going to hand you money. You're not going to wait for a specific time. This isn't Apple, you know. they're going to have the phones the night before. They're going to be told, you sell it on November 11th. Yeah, but we have to wait. No, you don't have to wait. Sell it.
We'll see if they have the like they did with the Droid X. They have the red carpet rolled down the sidewalk, and they're handing out donuts and taking people's pictures and all that kind of stuff. It was kind of funny, I thought.
Well, if they're handing out donuts.
If your receipt says your purchase time was at 11:11, they should just give it to you free. Are you listening to me, Verizon? Just do that.
I don't know. Seriously, Verizon has too many phones.
The Galaxy comes out.
Yeah, Verizon has too many phones, period. We got look, how can people make up their minds? You got the Razr, you have the ReSound, you have the Galaxy Nexus. Those are the big three on Verizon right now. How the hell are you supposed to choose between them? Yeah.
You walk into the store and you pick it up and you say, this feels good in my hands. I like the looks of it. And that's all anyone cares about. Except for us nerds.
One has ice cream sandwich.
And I just got, finished on some rant about we all want a Nexus. No, Corey's right. You get the one that feels best to you. But if you're the kind of guy who has been complaining for 2 years and you turn around and buy a Razr because it came out first, I'm going to laugh at you.
Yeah.
What's that going to sound like? What kind of laugh is that going to be?
Like
or is it?
Yeah, a little bitty, tiny little midget.
Hillbilly laugh.
Or like a Michael Jackson laugh.
You're going to see 3 different phones, right? If you're the average consumer, you're going to see HTC. You're not going to see ice cream and all. Like a lot of people are not going to see that. They're going to walk in. They're going to see HTC Sense. They're going to see Moto, whatever the heck it is, and they're going to see a completely different thing with the Nexus. And so that's bigger. That's what they're buying.
And that's the bigger device. And it comes down to are you going to want a bigger phone or not?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Bigger the better.
The average consumers, the ReSound and the Razr are going to outsell the Nexus 3-1 easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You think so?
Oh yeah. Yeah, if you just want a new smartphone and you go in and buy one, you're going to see that, pretty Sense UI, or you're going to see that, industrial Star Wars design of the Razr. That's the one you're going to pick. If you're a nerd, it's another, it's a different story.
They all have the same screen, right? I mean, basically you're looking at the same pixel. I mean, they all look good.
Yes, they all look very good.
Yeah. They're all, what's that, pentile? So.
No, don't get started on that.
I know.
All right, I want to get off these and kind of cycle back a little bit to something we kind of talked about last week. We talked about in-app purchases last week. I want to talk about in-app billing now. So Duke Nukem 3D came out this week, and it's very much Duke Nukem on a phone, and I guess it's fine. But there was a bit of a stink. It's a 99-cent app, so you're paying less than $1 for this thing. There are in-app purchases, so you only get one level, one, what do they call them, episode, and then you can buy 2 more. And it also had in-app ads, like on the menus, not within the game, so there aren't ads popping up while you're playing, but they're there, and people were pissed off that you would pay for an app and then have these ads in the menu, like you're double dipping, and that's what they were upset about. Does that bother you guys at all? Is that really double dipping?
Yes.
Yes. It's horrible.
Yeah, not good.
Well, if you think anyone's going to hate something you're doing, don't do it. Figure out something else.
Are there other apps that do this? I was trying to decide. I just haven't had time to go look. Like, does the Sports Illustrated app have ads in it? Now, granted, you don't pay for the app, but you pay for the subscription. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, double dipping. Everybody agree?
No, honest opinion, whatever way a developer can find to monetize his app that makes his customers happy, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
If your customers aren't happy, change something.
Yeah.
They were in the menu. They weren't in the game. It didn't bother me at all. And I saw they were there, and I think I noted it in a post or two, but it wasn't that big a deal.
It wasn't?
Not to me.
No.
No, really didn't bother me. I thought the game was pretty crappy. But,
I wasn't going to go there.
I thought I wasted 99 cents on it.
Maybe explain it just a little bit more. So you're playing the game, and when does it pop up an ad?
When you're like on the menu choosing which level you're going to play in the very beginning, and that was it. So, and I'm not even quite sure of how the payouts work on those. I assume it's maybe every time it loads or whatever, because you're not going to tap on it. You're not going to click it, right? But I don't know. I mean, Mickey, does that bother you if you saw that?
No, I don't think so. Although I don't really mind ads, maybe because I just don't even realize that they're there. I don't know. It doesn't bother me. I'm happy to have them there. I don't know why. I just don't. I'm totally indifferent to it at this point.
Yeah, I think we're just so used to seeing them. It's like, all right, there's an ad. Move on.
Yeah. My only problem with ads is we have a couple family friends that just got a smartphone on AT&T.
Mm-hmm.
Only get 250 megabytes a month of data. Right. I do not like to see ads built into paid games because it uses up bandwidth. Even if it's just a tiny bit, that rubs me wrong.
Just the principle of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just charge me $10 and don't put any ads in there.
I hear you. I have plenty of apps that I would gladly pay $10 for.
Okay.
If there's a free version with ads and then they have one that isn't, I'll try the free version and I'll immediately buy the app just to get rid of those.
I'm outvoted. Mickey's outvoted.
They're used to it on iOS.
Anything else you guys want to talk about? Anything we've forgotten over the past week? I don't think so. Hey, I went on the Ostroid podcast yesterday morning. Yeah, Ostroid.net, Australian Android site. Those guys were cool.
Good day, mate.
You guys would have liked them, except for the fact that they're like 14 hours ahead, so I had to do it at like 5:30 in the morning. But they were very cool. Had a good time on that. You want to do, I got an email and a voicemail. Should we do those? Then we'll get out of here.
We should do them.
Make way for the Girls Gone Gadgets. We'll talk about more of that in a second. So we've got one email, and it is from Tony. He writes, do you think manufacturers will take a different approach to putting an overlay on top of ice cream sandwich compared to how they have done in the past? Do you see doing something more like TouchWiz on Honeycomb, which wasn't quite as extensive, rather than doing the entire UI to make it look different and add functionality that wasn't already there, since it really is no longer an issue with ice cream sandwich? I don't see them redoing Sense entirely. I mean, and Sense is a framework as much as it is a UI. But I don't see HTC getting rid of Sense. If you've ever sat, I forget where, I think I said this on Twitter today. If you've ever sat in a room and watched Peter Chow and listened to anybody from HTC speak, I mean, they are, like, Sense just is that company. And it makes, I hate to say it makes sense, but Sense makes sense when you talk to anybody from HTC about it. And when you hear Drew Bamford and any of the other designers talk about Sense, and they use the word holistic a lot. And it's an integral part of that company. So, no, I don't see them scaling it back any. I think it was probably pretty tough for them when Windows Phone came out and they basically couldn't do anything. They have the Sense Hub, which is kind of worthless. And so now the only platform HTC really, really has to customize besides Brew phones is Android.
Well, I don't want to give away too much because I wrote up a little story that I got to tweak after today's news. But there is nothing in Ice Cream Sandwich after today's news that HTC hasn't already offered on phones.
True.
I mean, none of the new additions to software are new as far as HTC goes.
I agree. Samsung too.
Mm-hmm.
Probably to a lesser extent Motorola. Have to think about that.
Well, and I used HTC just because of the stop motion video, slow motion video that came out today. Mm-hmm. On the ReSound. that was the only thing I could think of that you couldn't get on another phone from Ice Cream Sandwich already. And after today's news, now HTC's giving you that too.
Yeah, and I think I haven't used the Ice Cream Sandwich, but HTC finally built in panorama capability, and I think Samsung still does that better, just in the implementation of it. I don't know. Anybody else?
I think
Corey?
Ice Cream Sandwich is going to do that better.
We'll see. But again, that's a Samsung phone, so
that's just the way HTC is, right? I mean, that's
yeah.
It's good. It's a good skin. I like their phone app. I like the email app. It's good. They're always improving on it. I think if they just changed that clock, I would be happier.
Yeah, I mean that clock. I call it a telltale. I mean, that's iconic. That clock is iconic. It's not going anywhere either. That clock's been here since Windows Mobile.
6700 or something.
That's the same clock that Mickey had on his HTC Diamond. That probably still works.
Right, I still do.
Man. We've got one voicemail. Renee, Invisible Man Behind the Curtain, are you prepared to play that or no?
Mm-hmm. Hey, Android Central Elite. This is Ilias from the forums. My question today concerning the Galaxy Nexus is, I know that you guys recommend that I get a phone that fits my needs as an individual, but when comparing the Razr and the Vigor or the ReSound to the Galaxy Nexus, I'd like to hear your guys' own personal opinions, weigh-ins on the topic, and maybe which way you plan on going. I mean, I know that I've always wanted a Nexus device, and since it's coming to Verizon, I'm definitely going to get one, but I've always been a big fan of HTC as well. So please chime in. Thank you very much.
I'm going Nexus.
Hell yes.
I can't wait till the Nexus comes out and people are asking about whatever's next after that. So I get the Nexus is a no-brainer, I think, if you want Ice Cream Sandwich.
And Ari in the chat room said we're hating on HTC. No. If the ReSound was launching with Ice Cream Sandwich, whatever HTC does with it, I'd be the first one to say, go try them both. Use the one you like the best. I am not hating on HTC at all. I love the way their phones look and feel.
Well, and honestly, if the Galaxy Nexus wasn't coming out, I'd probably be at the Verizon store grabbing one of those two phones, either the Razr or the ReSound.
That's pretty cool.
This is such a big deal. This is the next Nexus. This is a big leap from what we had before.
It's pretty cool that Corey thinks he'd only bought one of them.
Yeah, well,
you would totally buy both.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, he's going to buy all three anyway. He's Corey.
Nah, that Galaxy Nexus is what I want. That's who I am. That's the phone I've been waiting for. Something open. Something without. I'm so excited about it. I love the videos I've seen of the screen. It's gonna be so cool. Unless it dies in like 30 minutes after pulling it off the charger.
Yeah, we'll see. Mickey, what about you?
See that.
Well, I'm just someone who enjoys the kind of the pure experience of Android, and so to me, there's no question. It's the Galaxy Nexus. Not even thinking about it.
There you go. Unanimous. And I am going to unanimously put an end to this podcast. Or single-handedly. I guess I can't do it unanimously, can I?
Well, if we vote on it.
The voices in my head can.
Those are the ones you should listen to. They control the hand with the knife.
Mickey, take us home.
If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can do so by sending us email to podcast@androidcentral.com or leaving a voicemail by calling 888-468-6158. Type in extension 222. If you'd like to follow all of the work that we do, you can hit us up on Twitter. The site is @AndroidCentral. Phil is @PhilNickinson. I am @TCPJ_Mickey. Jerry is @GBHill. And Corey is @C_Streeter. You can also follow all of the other writers over @Android Central. This show and the site brought to you by the Android Central store, found at store.androidcentral.com. You can place your orders by calling 888-468-6158. And boy, there's been some great deals this week on the store as well. I love the deal of the day. It's a great thing.
Very, very cool. Now, don't go anywhere if you're watching this live, because Girls Gone Gadgets has its inaugural broadcast immediately following us. And They're gonna make us look like such fat, ugly men. Because
yes, that's where we'll be glad you have video.
We got Georgia from Tippy and Ashley Escada who does the Mobile Nations Monday Brief, so stay tuned for that. That's it for us. I'm gonna go pour a glass of wine and watch these girls, I think. Jerry, Corey, Mickey, see ya.
Good night.
Adios.
Thanks for the podcast.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yay.